All right, everybody. Good morning from the Appalachian Mountain Club Center in Crawford Notch, New Hampshire. So, had breakfast this morning. It's daylight really early here. It gets daylight at 5 o'clock a.m. And so it makes the day longer, that's for sure. Nobody wants to get up and start moving, but I'm ready to go. So the plan today is we're going to hike. It's only about, it's less than 7 miles to the next hut. However, there's a fair amount of climbing involved in it. In fact, I'll show you the mountain, the first mountain I'm going to climb today. What a pretty place, huh? So that mountain there on the left, right there, is Mount Webster. So I'm going to take a shuttle at 8:30. I'm sorry, that's as soon as it will leave, but you got to go with when they take you. So the shuttle from here leaves at 8:30. I'll arrive down here in the gap, or the notch, I'm sorry, at 8:45, and I'll climb this mountain. That's Mount Webster. And once finished Mount Webster, we'll climb Mount Jackson. I don't think Mount Jackson is visible from here, but Mount Jackson would be further on the other side of this mountain, I believe, and across this ridge. So Mount Webster is our first destination, so that's what we're climbing this morning. And if I leave at 8:45, I hope to be up there by, it might take me a while, probably 10 something, maybe 11, honestly, before I get to the top of that mountain. So, yep, we got some short miles today, but not easy miles. And that's the reason I've been building this plan to be somewhat shorter. So from there, we'll end up going to another hut, and the hut's called the Mizpah hut. So, yeah, today is July the 3rd, and I can't wait till tomorrow. I hope we have similar weather tomorrow, because tomorrow is July 4th. And July 4th, I hope to be standing atop of Mount Washington. Can't think of a more patriotic place to be on July 4th than the top of Mount Washington. So that's the plan. We'll talk more about tomorrow, but we can only hope and pray for similar weather as we're going to have today. So, hope everybody's having a wonderful morning thus far, and we'll catch up again when we start doing our climb. Have a great day. All right, everybody, we are at the trailhead, and probably shouldn't do this, but that's all I got to do today. Climb up that right there. About 3 miles. Steady climbing. So as soon as I cross the road, get out of this traffic, all right, here we go. We're currently at about 1,500 feet, and we're going to be I think around 4,200 when we get to the top right there. That'll be the worst of our day, I can assure you of that. No, I'm sorry, it's 3,910. And it's 2.8 miles up to Webster Peak, which is 3,910. And then from there we go to Mount Jackson, which is a little higher at 4,052. So we got a little work ahead of us, but the good news is, there's always good news, right? We only have about 6 miles in total to go, which there was a day when I'd go out and just walk 6 miles, and man, I could do that in about 2 hours, on flat paved ground. So this is going to be, this will take a good part of most of the day that I have left. Unfortunately, it's already close to 9 o'clock. It's 8:40. And I had to leave the AMC Center there, you know, whenever the shuttle runs, and it don't run to 8:30. So I had to go when it goes. And it's about a 4-mile trek down here from the AMC Center. So I'm hoping for a gradual uphill today, at the beginning at least. And I anticipate that that'll turn into a rock climb before we get to the top for sure. So yeah, I'm not going to kid myself. I know that there's some real challenges ahead in terms of climbing. But once I get up to the top of Mount Webster at 2.8 miles and get that climb behind me, the climb from Mount Webster over to Jackson is not that significant. So by far the worst will be behind us, and about half the day will be behind us too. All we got to do is make the climb. So let's move along, and let's see what we get into today. I hope everybody's having an awesome day, and we'll catch up with you further up the trail. All right, folks. That's where we're going. That's where we came from. We're making progress. I checked the map. It appears, just I didn't really check the mileage, but it appears based on the profile of Mount Webster and the climb that we are around halfway up. The climb started out as I expected, a little bit gradual, and turned into this. It's just getting worse. There has been pretty good use of switchbacks, but the switchbacks themselves have been still yet pretty steep, but they still help, not complaining. And so we got a lot of work left out on us for sure. It's about 9:40, so we were an hour into it and possibly about a mile in, maybe a little more than a mile in. So, which means we probably still yet have about a mile and a half, a little over a mile yet to go. So it's been a tough climb. Obviously I'm sweating, and it's just it's a little bit warm, certainly a little muggy, but it's just a workout. So that's all it is. That's all you can say about it. There's a lot of climbing from rock to rock, and it just doesn't stop, you know. It will stop though. That's the thing you have to continue to tell yourself. This is not an infinite wall of rock. It's going to stop, and you're going to be at the top if you keep on pushing it. So that's exactly what I plan to do. So we'll catch up with you as we get closer to the top. And it keeps going. All right, folks, check out this ridge. Holy smokes. First step's a doozy. Quite a view. Now, across from us over there is Mount Wiley, and that road down there is the road that we came down to get to the drop-off point this morning. We drove right past that house. That's called the Wiley House, and I understand that back in the late 1800s, the original Wiley House was destroyed by a rock slide. You can almost see areas where there has been rock slides. The house was destroyed, maybe, and the Wiley family died as a part of that, I think. So anyway, this mountain is Mount Wiley. We're going to keep on going. Believe it or not, we're still not to the top of Mount Webster. Couple things to note. Number one, I believe that is the top of Mount Webster. So that's where we're headed pretty quickly. The reason I say pretty quickly is that up there. The forecast this afternoon is for some opportunities for rain at higher elevations. So that's our highest elevation right there. Well, we've actually just not more than 100 feet higher is Mount Jackson. So we need to knock those out and let's try to get into cover before we find any issues this afternoon. That would be a blessing. But good news is we're making good progress. We just got more work to do to get to that ridge top, and then after that, the hard work will be behind us, of course. So let's go make it happen. Okay, still making progress, folks. Kind of the same view, and I think we'll have that most of the way up of Mount Wiley and the road below. That's where we're headed. And I might be wrong, but I think that's probably Mount Jackson right there. All right, let's get at it. All right, folks. Things have changed dramatically on the weather. I'm afraid to say I'm hearing a lot of thunder rumbling in the distance. Not really far distance. Probably more to our left where we were looking at Mount Wiley. Seems like that's where the concentration of it seems to be. But the wind also appears to be kind of pushing a little bit in this direction. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't at least get wet. And I'm hoping we don't have to take a real serious defensive position and hunker down and wait it all out, because we still got 3 miles to get to the hut, and at the pace I've been moving today, which I do predict to improve, it could take me 2.5 hours. We'll see. The wind is gusting, and I got to get off the ridge as fast as I can. Folks, it's been lightning, thunder, exposed ridges, and kind of tucked in now in this little rocky area that's completely surrounded by trees. It's making a big difference in terms of exposure, for sure. You may still hear some thunder in the distance. Good news is, it's still in the distance. So I'm hoping that this is passing. It's not as bad now as it was 10 or 15 minutes ago. But the problem is I've got a solid 3 miles left to go to get to the hut. And there is a lot of it's going to be lined with trees. So that's good news. So I think I can continue to kind of take some cover as I make progress. I think as long as I can make progress safely, then I'm going to continue to do that. But I'm really concerned about lightning on the ridge tops. And it's thundering, which means it's lightning, but it seems like it's a bit more in the distance than it has been. So we're going to keep on pressing on as long as we've got the energy and the ability to do that safely. Keep you posted. All right, everybody. Things have gotten better. So the worst of the storm has passed. It's been probably 5 to 10 minutes since I've heard any thunder. So I think it's pushing on. I'm hoping there's not a second wave behind it. It's about noon. So I stopped, put my rain jacket on, which is a little bit late because I'm completely soaked. But I didn't want to take the time to do that earlier. I was just trying to run for cover. And but at least keeps me warm now because there's a breeze and I'm totally soaked. So just trying to stay warm now. And got my umbrella up so maybe I can keep the top of my pack dry to some degree so things on inside won't get too wet. I don't think they will. And I'm eating me a sausage and egg sandwich on white bread. That's the nice thing about a buffet, you know, if you can take a couple pieces of bread, get some eggs, sausage, make you a sandwich to put in your pack for later. So that's what I did. So it's lunchtime. I'm gonna finish this sandwich up and I'm gonna push on, and we're gonna make it to this hut at a reasonable hour, I believe. You know, I think I can make decent time on this terrain, but we still got a bit of a climb yet. We have passed up Mount Webster's most highest summit point. The views would have been the same, but trust me, there was no views. When I went over it, there was just lightning and then thunder. So I was pushing to get off that summit, obviously. But we have Mount Jackson still yet in front of us. So who knows? Maybe it'll clear. I'm a positive-minded thinker, you know, so maybe we'll get up there and we'll have something to take a picture of. So we'll see, but I'm definitely going. So hang around. We'll see what we get into. That's where we're headed. Oh, boy. All right, folks. We are enjoying, number one, clearer weather for sure. It's definitely past us, and that's a blessing. I can tell you that for sure. That kind of got wild and crazy there for a minute, or 30 minutes. You still see a few puffy clouds kind of resting in some of the lower lying areas. And then out there at the far distance, actually, it's back towards Crawford's Gap. They may still be getting some weather. I don't know. I believe that mountain there again is maybe Mount Wiley, and that center point right there in the middle is where we were at Mount Webster. So we've come down from there and kind of circled back through these woods and landed ourselves here. And I think we're just about to the top of Mount Jackson. Not quite yet. Not quite yet there. So, what an amazing turn of events, though, where we start out with beautiful weather, not so much different from this. I'd say a lot warmer, probably 15 degrees warmer. And then total washout with thunder and rain and clouds, lightning, obviously. And now it's all clear again. Pretty awesome. All right, everybody, we have officially made it to the top of Mount Jackson, as in Andrew Jackson. What a pretty place, huh? I believe that down there is a resort. You see it's surrounded by a beautiful golf course. Probably a little pricier than the AMC Center I stayed at last night, I would imagine. All right, we're headed to the hut. I'm so thankful that once we got from over there from Mount Webster over here to Jackson, that we were rewarded with some views. So that's pretty awesome. All right, everybody, have a great day. Just noticed over here, that's a Mizpah hut. That's where I'm going to be staying tonight. Look how far it seems. It's crazy. That's less than 2 miles away. It's hard to believe, really. We got to get it. That's more craziness. That's where we're going. Down this rock, somehow. Look at this area, folks. This is called the Alpine Bog. I mean, this is, you know, you anticipate seeing real deep, muddy areas and low-lying areas, right? But here on the top of this mountain, I think you'd have a bog. Very interesting. Stark contrast versus these bleached boards I'm walking on. All right, everybody, we have arrived at our destination. Welcome to our home for the evening, the Mizpah hut. And I'm glad to be here. This has been a wily day. I'm kind of tired. I have found, I guess it's now starting to be my experience, that somewhere around 1 mile per hour is what I can anticipate in hiking this area. I did a little bit better than that today. Let's see, let me count up. Let's see. Yeah, close to an hour. I did better than that. It's probably a little bit better than a mile per hour. And considering the huge the climb that we had, this 3 miles climb to begin with, extremely difficult. And then certainly the rain and lightning and stuff like that, that might have actually sped me up, because I really took off at that point, trying to make as much as I could, trying to get here. Didn't know if it's going to continue for the next several hours or next few minutes. Fortunately, it ended in just a few minutes. So I don't know, it's been a weird day, but we're here, and that's what I'm grateful for. Tomorrow's gonna be a little bit longer day, but we'll
talk about tomorrow. And I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be July 4th, 2025. And hopefully one of the more memorable July 4th I've ever done. So, yeah, let's get in here, get ourselves checked in, get cleaned up a little bit, and get ready for dinner in a little while. All right, talk to y'all a little bit later.